Explain for us how the interest rate hike is going to impact everyday Taiwanese and their businesses.
There are basically two major important implications. On the first one, basically it is about household debt. Because of this high interest rate environment and also the tightening liquidity, basically it means that a household can actually face higher pressure when they basically try to repay their debt, especially if we look at what happened in the last 2 years after the pandemic. We see that home prices has ballooned in many cities. Basically, it means that the accumulated household debt to GDP ratio has probably increased to above 90% in 2021. And on the other hand, if we think about the external environment in terms of export, all of this can actually act a bit negative towards the Taiwanese export and production or the related sectors, simply because the global demand may not be so strong.
Taiwan's rate increases aren't as high as in some other parts of the world. Explain for us why that is and what that reveals about Taiwan's position in the global economy.
Taiwan actually is a market that is quite lucky, which is a kind of exempt from some of these direct factors. But still, it is still being impacted by the global prices surge, such in commodities, in food, and etc. But still, if we look at it from the general perspective, the inflationary pressure in Taiwan is still a bit lower than many of the other developed economies in the world. So with that in mind, basically, the Taiwanese central bank doesn't really need to hike rate as aggressive as many other central banks in the world.
The central bank also revised down Taiwan's GDP growth forecast for this year. Are you pessimistic about the coming months for Taiwan's economy?
Definitely, the pressure on the Taiwanese economy is mounting more rapidly than ever in the past few years. But going forward, there are indeed a few risks that Taiwan will face. The first, which is also the most important, is the weakening global demand because of the weaker consumer spending around the world because of high interest rate. That will have an impact on Taiwan export because simply global consumers will not be buying as many products as before from Taiwan. The really silver lining will lie on whether Taiwan would be able to reopen as quick as possible, which is in line with many other Asian countries around the region to actually boost its consumption.